Good evening and welcome to Lesson 8. I'm just going to write that up here so we know. Lesson 8 of your Algebra 1/2, Saxon Algebra 1/2 textbook. And this lesson is going to cover some things with decimals. The first thing is dividing decimals. And dividing decimals when we have decimals in both the divisor and the dividend. So the first thing you have to do, if you have a decimal here, you have to get rid of that. So in this particular case, you just have to move it one space to get it to the end. And if the decimal's at the end of a number, we say it's not really there. It doesn't matter. Alright, so, but whatever we do here, we have to do the same thing here. So we're going to move this one time, and here it's graphed out for you just a little bit better right here. We moved it over. Alright, so let's move the decimal to the end of the 5. We moved it from one place between the 6 and the 8, and now between the 8 and the 5. And now we have a whole number here, which is what we needed, and we say 5 into 68.5. Alright, now, the only thing we have left to do with this decimal is to bring it up to right here. And you can see down here, they've done that. And then you just bring it up, and then you go on with your division like normal. Remember that the procedure for division of any number is divide, multiply, subtract, and then bring down the next number, and then you start all over again. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And that brings you to your final answer. Okay, let's go to the next frame. I always like to have several illustrations if I can, just to make sure that you have several different ways of looking at things. This one is a little bit more detailed in its explanation. So if you're one of those people that can read it and understand it better than seeing it, then this is for you. Okay, but it does the same thing. It says you're just going to bring that decimal point up. In this one, the 8 didn't have a decimal at the end of it. So in this, made it really easy. The only thing we had to do was bring it up. And then we do our division steps. Okay? Alright, now here I have 3 different number lines. This one at the top shows broken up into tenths, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and so on, up to the whole number 1. This number line breaks it up into hundredths, so all the way up to 1/10. Alright, and remember that the further you go right, the bigger the numbers are getting. And then finally, this number line shows numbers in thousands until they get up to hundredths. Okay? So, in Lesson 8, not only did you have to learn about dividing with decimals, but you're also going to talk about ordering decimals. Alright, and let's go to the next frame. In ordering decimals, we're going to see that if you had, here they have the example of 7.69, and they're showing you that it's right here between 7.6 and 7.7. It would be the last thing right before 7.7. Alright, but let's say that I had 7.56. Well, where would that go? Well, this is 7.5, this is 7.6. It's going to be between those. And let's see, 7.56. If I know that there's 10 little notches between here, and there are, then I would be just a little bit over the halfway point. Okay, let's look at the next slide. This deals with the last portion of this lesson, which is rounding decimals. And you round decimals really just like you round anything else. If you're told to round, for instance, in this example, you're told to round this number to the nearest hundredth. So you see, okay, well, I know that 0 is in the hundredth place. So I identify that. Then I look to the digit that's to the right of that, and I decide, okay, if it's 5 or more, this is going to change. It's going to go up. But if it's less than 5, that 5 is going to drop off, and it's just going to be, that 0 is going to stay just like it is. In this particular case, we do have a 5. Sorry. So we're going to round the 0 up to 1. Okay, so we have 0.1. Alright, in this example, we have round this number to the nearest hundredth. Okay, well, what number is in the hundredth place? The 4. So I'm going to identify that. You can circle it. Your book says to circle it. Here it's underlined. Either way, identify it, pick it out, and then look to its right. Alright, now here, the number to the right is a 2. We know that 2 is less than 5. So we are not going to change. This is not going to go to a 5. It's going to stay a 4. And then when you're rounding, everything else behind that either becomes a 0, or in a decimal number, it just drops off because the 0 wouldn't really make a difference. Okay, let's look at your practice problems. And A says round this number to the nearest 100,000th. Alright, so I'm going to have to choose which number is in the 100,000th place. And remember, I've got that DTH. So I've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths. Alright, so I know that this 3 is in the 100,000ths place. So I'm going to look to the right a bit, and I see, well, that's not very good. I see a 7. Alright, so I know 7 is higher than 5, so that tells me what to do to 3. Remember, 3 is either going to stay a 3 or it's going to become a 4. So in this case, it is going to become a 4. So I'm going to rewrite the entire number. You can't just do the part that you're rounding. You have to write the entire number in your answer. And put 0, 4, 2, 7, 4. And that is to the nearest 100,000th place. Okay, next problem. Problem B. Round this number to the nearest thousandth. Alright, thousandths place, I've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. This 5 right here is in the thousandth place. And again, I'm going to look to the next number to the right. Well, that looks like it's pointing at a 2, doesn't it? But it's pointing at the 6. See if I can make it a little clearer. Okay. And 6 is higher than 5. So this 5 is going to move up. It's going to become a 6. And then these two numbers are going to become zeros. So I'm going to write my answer just like this. And I told you that in decimal numbers, you don't, if it's behind the decimal, you don't have to add the zeros, only if it's in front of the decimal. Okay, so that would be the answer to B. Make sure you're writing all this down in your notes. Alright, now in this one we're told to round to the nearest 10,000th. So we've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. Alright, so the 2 is the one that's either going to stay a 2 or it's going to become a 3. How do I know? Well, I'm going to look to this very next number right here, and that's a 4. 4 is less than 5. That means that this 2 is just going to have to stay So my answer then would be written like this. And everything behind that 2 is just drops off. It's zeros, it's nothing. Alright, and then go on to D, our last practice problem. Okay, this says graph these 4 numbers on a number array. Remember, array is kind of like a line, but it does have a starting point, but no ending point. Alright, so here I've got from 4/10 to 5/10. So everything in the middle is going to be somewhere between that. Alright, well, they've already given them to me in least to greatest order. So I'm going to start here at the halfway point, and I'm going to say that's 0.45. Alright, so if I want 0.453, I'm going to go just and put 0.453 there. Alright, now 4.45 is not quite to the 0.45. It's just a little bit shy of halfway here. So we're going to put it, well, let's start with 0.423. It's going to be just about a quarter of the way. So that would make it about halfway through here. About right there. We're going to put 0.423. It'll look like a 4, doesn't it? Alright, and then we're going to put 0.445 about right here. 0.445. Alright, and then 0.460. If this is 0.45 right here, then I guess this would be about 0.46. Again, it's not exact. We're estimating, but it's very close. And the reason we're doing this is to show you that how to arrange these numbers, what number is bigger than what other number. And you can see that, again, it gets bigger as it goes further towards the right. Alright, go ahead and wrap up your notes. I'll see you tomorrow in class to do your 30 problems in your lesson set. Have a good night.